Rubik's Cube might seem really complicated at first, but trust me, it's a lot simpler than it looks. And if you're sitting there going like, I'm not even good at math, how can I complete this weird block of colors? Don't worry, because it really has nothing to do with math at all. So first, I'm just going to show you the basics and what you really need to know. So you have to know that white is opposite yellow, so the white center is opposite the yellow center, red is opposite orange, and green is opposite blue. So these are the center pieces, these are the edge pieces, and these are the corners. So this is just a sequence of moves that you're going to need to know for the process of solving the cube. And you're going to hold it like this. You're going to bring the right side up, move the top layer to the side, bring this back down, and bring this back over. So you're going to do this with your right hand a couple times until you get used to it. And then now we're going to do the same thing for the left side. You're going to bring it up, bring it over, bring it back down, and bring it to the side. So you're going to keep doing that. And that's going to be what you need to know. It's pretty simple. The first step is the white cross. And a correct white cross looks like this, where all the white edges are lined up and they match with the centers like this. An incorrect white cross would look like this. So all the white edges are on the white face, but the edges here do not align to the centers, so that's how we know it's incorrect. So you're going to start with the white face facing up, and I'm going to look for any white edges that you see. So I see this one, which is a red and white edge, and the white and red centers are here, so I can just bring it up like this, and it's in the right slot. And I see this one, which is blue, so that goes right here because these are the two centers. I can move it over, so now it aligns, and I can bring it up to align here. Now I see this orange one, which goes here. So to do that, I can just move this over, bring this orange one where it has to go, and then move it back, and now it's in its right slot. And then this green one, I can do the same thing. I can move this over, bring it in, and put it back. Another case you might get is when a piece is in the top layer, but it's not oriented correctly, like this piece, for example. So I can just turn the front face like this, and I want it to go here. So I make sure the white is here, I bring it up, and I can put it back. And I see this piece, which goes here, so I can do the top layer, move it up, and move it back. And then the last piece is down here. So if it's like this, we can just move this, so now it's where it has to be. I can bring it up, but since I messed up the blue, I can just bring it back afterwards. The cross is pretty intuitive, so you'll probably be able to figure it out after a while, but here are just some of the basic cases. After the white cross, we have to do the white corners to finish off the first layer, and that would look like this once completed. And this would be an example of incorrect white corners because you can see that they're not correctly aligned. So to do this, we can just look on the bottom layer and see if there are any white pieces. So I see this piece, which is white, orange, and green. So that goes between the white, orange, and green centers. So I can just put it directly under where it's supposed to go. Make sure the white face is facing you for this to work. So I'm going to move it away from the slot. Make sure you don't move it this way because that would mess it up. So if I move it here, I can bring this edge down. I can move this corner into the slot and bring it back up. So as you can see, if I put it on this side, once I bring this down, this will be up here, which wouldn't work. So I move this here, bring this down, put this in, and put it back. And we can repeat this. So I see this piece, and the white is facing here, and we have red and blue, which would go here. So I can put it under here. This time I would move it this way because I want to put it here. So I can bring this down, insert this in, and bring it back up. So now we have two corners. And I see this corner, which is already up here, so I don't know how I can bring it down. But instead, I can just put any piece in for now. So let's put this piece in. So I can bring this down, move this in, put this in. And now this is in the bottom layer. So we can put this where it has to go, which would be here. So I can move it over here. The white is facing me. I bring it over, bring this down, insert it in, and bring it back up. And for the last piece, I have it like this, but the white is facing down, so I can't just insert it the normal way because then it would be wrong. So instead I can just insert it in anyways. So now it's in here, and we can do the same thing we did for the other piece. So I can put any piece in for now. So let's put this one in. So we can insert it like that, and now the white is facing the front. So I can bring this over, move this down, bring this in, and pull it back up. And now all our corners are done. Now it's time for the second layer, which looks like this. So we're going to turn the cube upside down so that the white center is facing the bottom and yellow is facing the top. And we're going to look for edges that don't have yellow on them because, for example, this piece, it has yellow on it, which means it would be for the top layer because it has yellow and this is a yellow face. So I see this piece, which is green and orange, which would go here. So I want to align it with the green side because green is facing the side and orange is facing the top, so it's already aligned. I can move it over to the side, and this is where you're gonna use that sequence of moves that I showed you earlier. So it goes like this. You bring it up, you move it over, you bring it back down, and bring it to the side. Now you're gonna turn it so that the white is on the front face, but it's facing the side. And you're gonna do the same thing with your left hand. So you're gonna bring it up, move this side, bring this back down, and readjust the top layer. And now this is solved. So I can look for another piece on the top layer, which is this one, which is red and green. So that would go here. I'll align it with the red face because so it aligns with the center. And I can turn it away and do the same thing. So I move this like that. I turn it and then do the same thing. And now this is also solved. And something you might run into is something like this, where the edge piece is already in a slot, but it's in the wrong spot. So to do that, you can just insert any random piece. So let's just insert this yellow piece. So I can move this back out and move this back in, and now this is in here, and we can work with this. So I can put it here and do the same thing. And then the last piece is here. So align it with the center, move it away, do a sequence of moves, turn, do the same thing. And you just repeat that for all your edges until you get it. Next is the yellow cross, and here's an example where all the edges are oriented up so that the yellow side makes a cross. And there are 3 cases that you can get unless you got lucky and you already got it solved. And in that case, you can just skip this step. So the first case is an angle, which looks like this, where 2 edges are oriented and it makes an angle. The other case you can get is a line where 2 edges are oriented, but they're across each other like that. And the last case is a dot where none of the edges are oriented and you just have the centerpiece and maybe a few corners. So we can look at our cube right here, which has the angle, as you can see. So to solve this one, you do a double front move like that. So you just move both layers clockwise. You do the sequence of moves that I showed you earlier, and then you move it back counterclockwise. And now it's solved. So to solve this one, you can do the same thing, except instead of moving both layers, you just move one layer, and then you do the sequence of moves, and then you move it back. And here's the cross. And then for the dot, you can just do both of them. So I can do this to solve. So now I have the angle, and then I can do the algorithm for that one, which goes like that. And now this is solved. Now we can look at the yellow corners and see if they're in the right spot. You don't have to worry about the edges or the orientation of the pieces for now. You just need to see if the corners are in the right spot. So for example, this piece right here, it's not oriented correctly, but it's still in the right spot because you can see orange, green, and yellow centers. And this is a yellow, orange, and green piece. The only thing that we need to fix is that the yellow should be facing up here. This would be an incorrectly oriented piece because, well, it is correctly oriented, but it's in the wrong spot because this is green, orange, and yellow, but this one has red instead of orange. But if we turned it here, then it would be correctly oriented and in the right spot. So you're gonna turn the cube until at least 2 corners are in the right spot. Like for example, these 2 are in the right spot, they're just not oriented correctly, and these 2 need to swap. So there will always be a way you can turn it where 2 corners are in the right spot, so you can just look for that. And now we can hold the 2 correctly placed corners on the left and these 2 that need to swap on the right. And we're going to do the sequence of moves with our right hand 3 times. So 1, 2, and then 3. Now we're going to turn the cube and do the same thing with our left hand. 1, 2, 3. And now all the corners are oriented correctly. And they also happen to all be facing up, but you're not always going to get that. The other case you can get is where 2 corners diagonally need to swap. So as you can see, this piece is in the right spot, and so is this one, but these 2 aren't. So to do this, you can do the same thing you did for the other one. So you can hold it so the one on the front right side of you is correct. And you can do this 3 times. Turn it and then do it 3 times with your left hand. And now you're going to get the other case, so you can just turn it and until 2 pieces are correct. Like for example, it might take you a while, but here you can see these 2 pieces are in the right spot now, and I need to switch these 2. So I can do the same thing. So that was 3, turn it, and then another 3. And then you can just align it. So now all the corners are in the right spot. Now that all the corners are in the right spot, we can turn it upside down and orient the corners. So this one's already oriented, so we can start with this piece. And we're going to put it on the bottom right side, and we're going to do the sequence of moves with our right hand. So we're going to do it until the piece faces the bottom. So now it's facing the bottom. And then we can do this one now. We can move it over so it's right where the other piece was, and we can keep doing it. It might take you a while, but if you're doing it for too long, you might have messed up. But here's the last piece. We can move it over and then keep doing it, and then it will solve itself, and then the yellow side will be done. Here's another example where all the corners are in the right spot. So we turn it upside down. We put any yellow piece on the right bottom, and we're going to do the sequence of moves until it faces the bottom. So this piece is here. So now we can move this one over and keep continuing. And now they're all on the bottom. Now you can turn it so that yellow is facing the top again, and we can just align our corners again. So this is one of the cases you can get where one of the edges is in the right spot, but the other 3 edges need to swap. And you can also get 2 other cases that look like this, where none of the edges are in the right spot and all of them need to switch places. So I'm going to show you how to do this one first. And to do that, you're going to put the fully solved face on the front, and then you're going to do the sequence of moves with your right hand, then do it with your left hand, and then do it 5 times with your right hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do it another 5 times with your left hand. And then if it's still not solved, do it again. And then it should be solved. Now to do a case like this where none of the sides are completely solved other than white and yellow, you can just do the same thing. So you're going to do it with your right hand, do the sequence with your left hand, do it 5 times with your right hand, and then 5 times with your left hand. And then you'll get the other case, which you can solve the same way as earlier. And once you do this, you'll be finished. If you made it this far, congratulations, you've solved your first Rubik's Cube. And I know there are a lot of 3x3 tutorials out there, and this is just one of them, but I hope I just made it easier for some of you. Probably not, because I'm not that good of a teacher, but if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, and let me know if you want to see any example solves.